Here I'm going to show you how to put together the Try Shutter card using the template from Craft World. So I've cut round my template and adhered it to a piece of cardstock. There is a separate video showing you how to use these printout templates on Craft World, so make sure you do take a look at that if you've never used one before. I'm keeping mine glued with a repositionable glue to my cardstock at the moment because I've got lots of scoring and lots of cutting to do. Now I've already started scoring some of the lines. I need to continue, and I just want to show you as well, if you do use a smaller scoreboard, how you can use this. You don't have to have a really large scoreboard for these. So what I tend to do is, for the longer score lines, which I'm just going to show you in a minute, is it just simply turn my card so that I can use the right score lines. Now, I need to explain something about this template as well. This is a little bit different to some of the others that you've previously had from Craft World. Usually we give you dots for the score lines and solid lines for the cut lines. There isn't a key on this template because this is not the case with this one. We have got red cut lines and black solid score lines, but they do say cut and score, so just be aware of that when you're using that. Now, this is almost A4, but I've only got an A5 scoreboard here. It's quite an old one now, actually. So I'm just going to turn my panel round and just score where I need to and keep twisting it round. I don't have to go all the way down. So just bringing that to there. And sometimes you may find that your particular scoreboard works in inches or it works in centimetres, and it doesn't perfectly line up with the lines on your template when you push it into the corner so it's straight. So what I do in that case is I usually bring the line I want to score to the very last line on the scoreboard, and I just use that one instead. Okay. So now always check the reverse of your cardstock before you remove your template, and make sure that as far as you can see, all the score lines indicated on the template have been scored, and I think they have there. They're absolutely fine. So all I need to do now is add in my cut lines. Now, of course, most trimmers nowadays will be something like a guillotine, a rolling blade, where you can't cut into the middle of your cardstock. You need to go from the top all the way down to the bottom. So the best way here is to use a craft knife and a ruler to get this cut line in the centre. So I'm going to position a steel ruler against the red line and use a nice sharp craft knife, pop the point of the knife into the cardstock at the top of the red arrow and bring it all the way down to the bottom of the arrow. Now again, before I remove my template, just turn this over and make sure that has cut through absolutely perfectly. I'm going to do the same on the other side here as well. The more you use a craft knife, the more confident you will be with it, and you'll find, well, certainly like myself, I use this all the time. So I believe I've got all my score lines and all my cut lines now in my cardstock, so I can take away my template. Because I used a repositionable glue, this is really easy to peel off. Underneath the template, I used a lovely lilac colour cardstock, and I've chosen some pattern paper as well that's going to match that. So this is why I've chosen the purple, because I really love the Paper Boutique pattern papers that I've used here. Now, first we need to score all of our lines, okay? So what we need to do is be bringing these backwards and forwards. I always find with any template, if you're not sure of which direction the score line should go, you score it both backwards and forwards, and that way you've got that flexibility to move your template until you are happy with it, and then you can secure your lines with something like a bone folder tool afterwards. Now this will need to be concertina folded. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a mountain fold and then a valley fold and then a mountain fold and then a valley fold. But we want to have the opposite for the next panel. So we're going to go valley, mountain, and then the same as the back panel there for the last piece. So folding all of your pieces there. Now the score lines are simply for you to add panels to, so you don't have to do these end score lines if you don't want to, but if you want to add some nice paneling, some matting and layering too, then it's a good idea to score those so you've got a nice marker. So you can see here we've got the like the concertina look to this. I love this, and then we can fold that completely flat if you want to. Now I'm going to decorate mine with panels of paper, and I'm going to alternate them, but I'm going to start in the very middle. So this is the largest panel here, and I'm going to put my sentiment in there. So I've chosen a die cut sentiment that matches the papers. So this is a really quick and easy card to do when you do have papers that match with embellishments, so you can place everything on together and know that they all match. So just gluing that with a wet glue. If I didn't want to use foam tape or foam pads because I don't want to affect the mechanism of the card there as it opens and closes. So just glue that down wet. And now I'm just going to go along with all of my panels, and I'm going to start gluing these alternately, so going from one to the other and making sure there's a nice mix across the card. And there we have a lovely tri-fold card that will fold completely flat for you to pop into an envelope. I would suggest something like a DL envelope will fit this nicely. And we have our sentiment on in the middle. Now of course you can fold this in the opposite direction if you prefer your centre to be facing this way, and then you just bend the top and the bottom panel in the opposite directions like so. So either way, once you're happy with the way that your card is folding, then you can secure your lines and do it like so. Isn't that really pretty?